Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize a father and son duo who, between them, have served Lansing for over 60 years, James Riley Sr. and James Riley Jr. Their story begins when the elder Riley moved to Michigan after graduating high school at 17. He took a job at the Ford plant in River Rouge, but left 2 years later to join the military when World War II broke out. While stationed in Charleston, he met his future wife of 70 years, Dorisa, at a dance. They moved back to Detroit soon after, and Mr. Riley used his GI benefits to attend Wayne State University while working at the post office. On the advice of a friend, he majored in mortuary science, obtaining his license before moving to Lansing and starting Riley Funeral Home in 1957 as the oldest Black-owned funeral home, and perhaps even the oldest Black-owned business in Lansing. The Riley name is synonymous with being active in our community, being kind and courteous, and serving families with professionalism and grace. But it wasn't an easy path. When Mr. Riley first set out to get his business off the ground, he found that no bank would extend him a loan. It was a time when financial institutions could deny a man a line of credit based on the color of his skin. Indeed, Mr. Riley would later recall that loan officers seemed almost amused by the novelty of a Black man asking for a loan. So he turned to the community, cobbling together his savings with some contributions from his sisters and friends who sold or lent him equipment. At first, business was slow. They had just 7 services in their first year. This was the late 50s, a time when African Americans would routinely be turned away from other funeral homes. If and when they were able to secure a service, they were typically assigned a date and relegated to the afternoon after the white services were finished in the morning. And so it went for the Rileys in their first decade of operation, working hard to earn the trust of the community with sincerity and good faith. It took time and concerted effort, but by the time James Jr. took over the business from his parents in 1993, Riley Funeral Home was handling 150 services per year. In a business that operates on trust, the younger Riley has taken his family's business even further, making sure that every family that comes to him is treated with care and respect. After almost 30 years at the helm, James Jr. has devoted the same attention to detail and standard of excellence his father was known for. James Sr. passed away in 2016, 1 year after Dorisa. And while they may be gone, it's clear that their legacy lives on with their son. Last October, I had the opportunity to visit Riley Funeral Home and talk to James personally about his family's story. He shared how Black-owned businesses were routinely discriminated against and regularly denied capital and credit. It is thanks to legislation passed by this body that that discrimination is no longer the case. The Rileys have overcome tremendous obstacles to get where they are. It is my honor to recognize both father and son today so that their contributions to the Lansing community may live on in the permanent record of the House of Representatives.